Welcome to the final part of this tutorial series. You can find the links to all of the parts in the video description. If you enjoy this content, please smash that like button, and if you don't want to miss future tutorials, you should subscribe. Let's get started. We are getting there, so our base is done, and now we can continue by creating this, I call it wing, because the profile of this whole thing is actually wing shaped. Well, first of all, we need that general shape, and we're gonna do that with a curve. So Shift A, curve, circle. Go into edit mode, rotate X 90. This is our circle. We can now in edit mode place it where we want it. And I'm gonna look at this edge here. Okay, gonna bring this up here, so this is that circle. Now maybe the easiest way to get this shape is just to duplicate this circle and bring it down here. Okay, make it as exact as we can, and then we take this vertex and delete it, and that gives us this shape. That's not what we want. We have to select the curve and toggle cyclic or hit Alt C. And that messes up this, so we can rotate. By holding down Control, we can rotate this back to a good position. So this is that half. And down here, what do we have? We have to remove this vertex. What happened? I think I have to do this again. Maybe that's a good idea. Anyway, Shift D on the C axis. Whoops. GZ, rotate 180, GZ, and just put it there. So now we have those half circles. I can select this vertex and this vertex, hit F to connect them, and these two, F, and now we have this curve shape that we can hardly see, but it's there. Okay, this is our shape. Shape done. Now this is going to be the curve that we use to create this wing shape, which is actually two pieces, and then they're gonna follow this curve. So let's do that from the side view probably. So Control C. Damn it, I have my screencast keys off again because I switched files. Okay, so Control 3 on the numpad gives us the side view from the left side. Why am I taking the left side? Because I have a reference image that I'm gonna pull in here now and scale down to maybe let's enable the side view, this guy, and scale this down so that it's the same width here. Okay, so this wing here is the same width as this guy. Cool, because this gives me the shape of the wing. I'm gonna put it down here to my world origin, around there somewhere. Okay, and now I'm going to create one of those plastic pieces, and it's probably best to hide some of the other stuff or go into isolate view. I don't know. Let's hide the motor, the stand. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe hide that reference image, this one. Cool, so here we still have the buttons. Doesn't matter, all we need is this, and we go Shift A, mesh plane, edit mode, scale it down, rotate X, no Y 90, scale it on the C, And maybe I'm just gonna delete one of these vertices and start working with this. So I hope you can see this in the video, because this is all very, very faint and super thin. This is my ref wing that I am not going to render, but I want to see it, and I want this to be, I don't know, 0.2. Very transparent. So let's do this. Go into edit mode, place this guy here, and this one here, and then we're just gonna build up this wing shape with vertices. So we start off with these 3, and we go extrude, 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 extrude. Control right clicking works as well, so you can go like this. Okay. Go over here. Then we create this shape in here. And why not? We're gonna create the inside too. Although you will never see it, but let's make it a nice plastic piece. And then the last 2, we're just gonna select both, hit F. And now this is our shape for that wing. I don't like this here, so let's do that. Okay, shape of wing done. Now let's wrap this around this shape. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we have to give it some thickness. Okay, so we're gonna take this and go to the modifiers, and we're gonna extrude. Now, I've said this before in a different tutorial. There is no extrude modifier, but we have a screw modifier that we can use as an extrude modifier. So we take the screw. This is not right. We want to go on the X axis, and we want 0 angle, which means extrude, basically. And the distance that we want to extrude is now this screw value. So we have our wing shape, right? Wing shape, and we're extruding it on the X to a certain distance. We don't know the distance yet, but we can figure it out by adding a curve modifier. And we're gonna select this curve, and look at that. We're extruding our plastic wing piece, which has the round part in the back, that's correct, around this curve. Cool, so now we have to figure out the distance. We can just increase this curve, this screw distance here. And we also need way more detail. So we can do that here with the steps. Maybe we do 128, which gives us a very nice round shape. Or you can crank it up to 256. I think that's the maximum. Oh no, 512 is the maximum. Cool. Let's do 256. So we get a very high detailed curve. Now this is a little bit tricky because we don't know exactly how long this should be. So we have to get it as close as possible. As close as possible. 3.1. Kind of have to enter this now. 3.3. I mean 2.135 maybe. And now we kind of have to make one object out of this. Otherwise we will always have shading issues in this spot. And we can do that with a weld modifier. Look at that. Fills the gap. It basically welds things that are close to each other, which you can set here with the distance, and makes one object out of it. This is an awesome modifier for this kind of stuff. Okay, cool. Let's check this out. Is this smooth? Is the question. Smooth calculate order is always a good idea. Looks good, looks good, looks good. We do get some shading artifacts here, I believe. And we can probably fix those by going to the side view, go into edit mode, and maybe take those on the outside and subdivide to get some more geometry in there. Okay, let's check. So go auto smooth. Okay, so we get this. Now we don't get nice sharp edges here. Let's go back to this view, into edit mode, and we're gonna add more geometry. So I subdivided these two vertices and take the center one and GG, which is edge slide, and bring that out here. Again, subdivide, take the center one, GG, and bring it up here to maybe get a nicer sharp. What is happening here? Sharper edge here. Maybe also down here. Subdivide and GG. Bring that down here. Cool. And of course we also want a sharp edge here. So subdivide. This is very similar to what you would do with the subsurface workflow. You have to add a little bit of geometry where you want sharper corners. Now let's check this out. So now we have a sharp edge here, we have a sharp edge there. That looks pretty good. Cool stuff. So this is fine. Oh, and by the way, this has to be plastic white, of course. Okay, so this is the outer part, and it's called plane. No, we want this to be wing white. That's the white part on the outside. And now let's check out our detail down here. Okay, so we're kind of far off here. This is not good. We can fix that. Maybe I want to split the screen here. Zoom in here and then go into the side view where I can edit this and bring it out a little. So I'm just gonna move it on the Z axis up, which brings it out a little more. We're gonna probably have to fix our Boolean modifier over here. So that gives us this shape. Now we have to do the exact same thing with the inner part, that a silvery gray part. Where's my reference image? Here. So the inside here is like this. It has a metallic paint on it, and we're gonna do that, of course, as well. But that's a different plastic part. And then there's this gap in the back there where the air actually flows out or gets blown out. And then it wraps around this wing shape. And that's what makes this fan work. So now for the inside part, we're gonna do the same thing. Let's go to this view. How about I just take that object? Where is that? It's called wing white. Shift D, escape, call it, nope, this one, call it wing silver, right? Then go into edit mode, and well, we could move it all around, but I think I'm just better off deleting all of this and starting fresh. So take this one, put it there. What is all of this? Do we have some sort of No, okay. Extrude. Well, this is on the inside, this is not visible, so we're gonna do this like this. Okay, you can always extrude, or like I showed before, you can control right click and create this shape. Now this is kind of crazy, like I said. No, we're not gonna do this because this is on the inside. We're never going to see this. We are, however, going to see this part. And I want nice sharp edges here. And then this round piece, and then just F to finish this off. Now I'm going to, whoops, move this around a little. Also subdivide here a few times to make this a very straight line. Subdivide these two and GG this one down here to get a sharper corner here. Like so. Also up here we need a very sharp edge, so we have to subdivide here and bring that in. Maybe subdivide again and bring that one up. Let's see what that looks like. So since I'd copied the other object, we should already have the rotation and everything, or the curve. And we get this piece, which is cool, but of course they need to be closer to each other. So let's split the view here. Check this out. Go into edit mode down here, select it all. Bring that up as well, so that part, can we look at it like this? Cheesy. That part is actually on the outside here. That's silver. And then we have the wing shape on the inside. And then back here we should have this little gap where the air comes out. Okay, so let's hide the ref wing. Switch back on our base motor stand and top thing. Oh, that's the top bool. Okay, so that's the wing. Let's check it out here in rendered view. It needs its own material, so let's do that real quick. Go to shading. That part needs its own material. Oh, let's just copy plastic white again, call it plastic silver, make it gray, and like I said, it has a metallic paint on it, but it's very, very rough. So something like this. And then we can also add a little bit more shine to it with a clear coat set to something like 0.1. So we do get nice reflections, but we also get the rough metallic look. Now just for the material, looks something like this. Cool. So we have a sharp edge. And this is our material. Now, what do we look like? Yep, this is it. We have a nice stand. We have a button in it. Oh, we have to do the LEDs. Then we have this motor part with all the holes. Looks very nice. This gap up here is kind of big. I don't like that. Let's fix that real quick. So we go here into the cylinder, select this top edge and cheesy up until we just have a tiny little gap there. Then we have this plastic piece here. We have the white wing going round on the outside, and it is round in the back. It has this white round back here, and then there's the silver piece on the inside. Save the file. There is still something wrong here with this. Is very jagged. It's not very round. Let's fix it. There has to be a way to fix it. So here we have the wireframe. If I take this and crank it up to 256. I know what the problem is. Where is our Bezier circle? This has to be wing. Let's call it wing shape. That's this object. The curve has a resolution too, and it's only 12. Let's crank this up to 64. And now look at this. It's all very nice and smooth. Oh. So probably 128 is enough here, but now we need to fix our weld. Merge. And where's the weld? Maybe bring this up 2.2. Yep. Okay, so I'm fixing the inside object. That's good. Now let's fix the outside object and bring that out a little as well so that we have a nice surface again. And now look at this. It looks much better now. Cool. It's very nice and round. If this is not round enough for you, you can either go to the wing shape and crank up. Oh, this should be all the way up anyway. But you can also go in here, and with this our extrude modifier, we can create more geometry. So let's just crank it up all the way, 256. Not all the way, but it's a lot. So now this is a very nice, very nice model here. Looking cool. So now let's do some finishing touches. First of all, we need a cable, right? This is a bit weird. You can plug this thing in, or you can't plug it in yet. So how do we do a cable? We're gonna go look at the side view here, and we have to make a cable come out. How to make cables? Very easy. You just take a Bezier curve, just this thing here. Maybe take this guy, rotate 90, and plug them in right there. So from side view, bring it up, scale it down, so the cable comes out this way. And then I need this guy, like right over here, scale him in, rotate to make him almost straight back there. And this is laying flat on the ground. This is cool, but it has to be up a little because the cable has thickness. Let's give it some thickness. We do that over here in the curve tab, geometry, and on the bevel depth here, let's do 4 millimeters, so 0.004. Yeah, looks like a cable. Cool. So now we can bring this down to lay it onto the ground. And in top view, we can now right click to extrude, rotate, you know, make a cable. Extrude again, rotate, place it somewhere. You can go on and on, but I'm just gonna make it this long. It also, of course, needs a material because right now it's white, and we're just gonna use our black rubber material we already have for the cable. Cool. Does that look good? Does that look like it's in the center? Not quite. Now it is. Cable done. Again, here you can increase the resolution of the cable to something much higher so that it's smoother. Cool, we have a cable. Now we want to see our LED display inside the stand here on the bottom, because we made it but we can't see it. And this is really just a materials thing, right? Let me just split the view here. Go to the shader editor. And we have this white plastic material. Now in order to make the LEDs shine through it, it has to be translucent. But first of all, let's go to the LEDs. Create a material over here. Set that to emission, white, and I don't know, strength 10. We still can't see it because it's inside. So we have an emission on here, and now on this guy, we're gonna change the material here. We're going to add a shader translucent, and we have to shader add that to our plastic. And look at that, it shines through. Pretty awesome. Now, question is, do we want to add this, or should we switch this out to a mix shader and turn that down to something really low? That's probably better. And also, we are using this plastic material for everything that is white now, except for this motor part here. It has its own material, so we have to copy this over quick to have the same plastic, right? So this is the transparent for the holes, and we are mixing in the translucent to the plastic. So this is our plastic, so that it looks the same. It would look kind of weird if one was translucent and the other one wasn't. So we have to do that, of course. Oh, and one final thing for the final touches. We want to be able to animate this because it's an oscillating fan. So we kind of need to parent everything and make it be able to oscillate. Well, let's start down here. So we have this base. Maybe I can bring this down a little. Take the button boolean, the button clearing. We also want the cable protector and even the cable. Where's the cable? I didn't name the cable. I guess it's the Bezier curve. I will have to name it. And then shift select this last, Control P, set parent to object, keep transforms. Cool, so now if I take this and move it, it should all move with it, except for, oh, the LEDs. So we need to get the LEDs, shift select the base, Control P, parent that. So now we have the entire base with everything in it, including the LEDs. Now we have the base motor. We have the inside, and it has the texture on it. We don't have to worry about that, but we can take the inside, shift select the outside, parent, so that the motor inside sticks to the outside. Cool. Now we have to get this piece up here. So we're gonna take this and parent that to this guy. Or you know what? We're gonna parent that to this guy, because that whole thing turns. Okay, but we also have to take this Boolean object that cuts out this cylinder here. Of course, that has to be parented to this as well. And the Bezier shape up here, where is it? Wing shape also has to be parented to this, because that has to turn also, because everything is built up with modifiers. So if you have the Bezier curve, that's used for, you know, that plastic piece on the outside. You have to turn the Bézier curve if you want to oscillate the whole thing. So I think we should be good now. We have the base stand, that's its own thing. And then we have the base motor, and everything is underneath the base motor. So if I take this now, everything goes with it. Cool. So we can rotate on the C, and we have an oscillating fan. Now, one thing to note here, we have a lot of modifiers, we have a lot of geometry, we have the exact Boolean modifiers, which are kind of slow. And for each frame that the Blender has to render, even in the viewport here, it has to do all of this modifier magic. And that slows it down quite a bit. So this non-destructive workflow is a good way to build up stuff. I think I like building up things, products, or whatever in this way, much better than with the, you know, the entire geometry and extruding and then always playing with thousands of vertices. I like this way a lot, but it's slow. So for maybe a final render or maybe a final animation, or if you want to export this to a different software, you might want to apply the modifiers and then maybe fine tune some things. But right now, everything is built up out of modifiers. And if we would disable all the modifiers, you're really left with just a few vertices. And I think that's kind of cool. So now, how do we want to do this? We should add an empty sphere. This is a big empty sphere. Make this smaller. Bring it up to here. And then we can fix the rotation X, Y, so we can rotate on the C. And we can take this guy and maybe add a, where the hell are they? Constraint, a copy rotation constraint of this empty. I mean, this is, you don't have to do this, but now you have this sort of handle here. We can also lock these, and you can go R, and you're rotating the empty, and no matter where I rotate it to, it's only rotating on the C, right? And it's taking everything with it, including the motor, the holes in the motor part, and of course that wing thing on top. Alright, that's it for this tutorial series. I hope you enjoyed creating this Dyson inspired tower fan. If you would like to add this model to your interior scene, architectural rendering, whatever, you can download the finished blend file from my Patreon page, and it's available for all gold tier patrons. Thank you for watching. Chris P out.